I'm Marco Rezoza.
And I'm Aaron Gerardo. Welcome to this edition of WBLN in the Middle for March 19, 2018.
Classes resumed today at FIU for the first time since the bridge collapse. As the investigation continues, there was a moment of silence at 1:45 p.m. to remember those lives lost and affected by the collapse of a pedestrian bridge crossing Southwest A Street near 109th Avenue. A bridge was built with the intent of allowing people to safely cross the busy roadway. Members of the Christian Life community held their annual CLC commitment mass on Tuesday, March 13th. CLC is where kids meet in groups to speak about the teachings of Jesus Christ. With more information, we pass it on to Carlos Perez-Abreu.
As CLC students make their journey to become stronger with Christ, they do it while following a main principle of vision. While this principle is not a set rule, it does set the tone for what God has planned for them ahead. After participating in this community for 3 years, they are to make a commitment, which is held in context of a Mass as a big stepping stone of their spiritual life. The students who commit to CLC will receive a pin in remembrance that God is always watching them and they are always called to follow God's Word. These students are now called to follow in the footsteps of Jesus Christ and His apostles and to go make a difference in their community one step at a time.
I first heard about CLC in the beginning of 6th grade when all the campus ministry people came into our homeroom and described to us what CLC was about and how it could affect us in the future and maybe take us to a good college that colleges could see how good we've participated in extracurricular activities. There's not any reason I participate in CLC because if I wanted to, every Tuesday I could just stay in my homeroom and maybe get ahead on homework assignments for the next week. But instead I go to CLC to have a good time and to have bonding experiences with my friends. CLC commitment means to me that for the next 4 years, I know I'll always have my CLC group that I could turn to and people to turn to if something ever hurts me, whether mentally, physically, or if I'm ever having trouble with my spiritual life.
For WBLN, I'm Carlos Perez-Abreu.
Thank you, Carlos. Now, also as part of Ignatian Week, Belen students stood in solidarity in the central patio for Marjorie Stoneman's Dougman students. Paul Yan was there.
Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School shooting in Parkland took place last month. 17 people were killed. On Wednesday last week was the 1-month anniversary. The whole Belen community gathered in the central patio for a prayer service remembering the victims. The student council planned the prayer service and Dieter Prusing led it. The tragedy of the school shooting opened a discussion about how we feel about this situation and
Martin Angiano.
The impact that the shootings had and the effect that it's had on my life personally, I think, obviously take it very much to heart because you're a teacher and you care about your students and you care about what you do, you love your community, and the safety of that community is the single most important thing that comes to mind, I think, when a tragedy like this happens. So you pray a lot for that community of Parkland. We were there yesterday with Mrs. Crowder after her visit here to the school, so that was a very impactful visit for us. And you just think a lot about the blessings you have, and you're grateful for what you have, and you think about ways that you can make this community safer and better.
I think the school shootings have impacted the school in many ways to be a lot more safer, and on me to be more cautious in my life.
for WBLN, I'm Paul Yan.
This weekend, Belen celebrated one of its greatest traditions, Grandparents' Day. The day was filled with different activities such as dominoes, bingo, and presentation on Belen. Students also celebrated Mass with their grandparents.
In other news, CIA Director Mike Pompeo will become the new Secretary of State. Former Secretary of State Rex Tillerson was fired by President Donald Trump after the two had been arguing for a few months. President Trump made this public on an announcement he made on Tuesday, March 13th. Shortly after the news, Trump tweeted, "Mike Pompeo, Director of the CIA, will become our new Secretary of State. He will do a fantastic job. Thank you, Rex Tillerson, for his service."
On Thursday, over 10,000 people fled the rebel-held eastern Ghouta towards regime-controlled areas on Thursday. Syrian state TV showed families on foot and some on trucks, streaming through the Hamaraya corridor. The UK-based Syrian Observatory for Human Wright said 12,500 civilians fled through this corridor today. Soldiers could be seen in the live footage carried by the state TV with no sign of local or international NGOs.
Students from Builders Club and Operation Hope volunteered all weekend at the Best Buddies and Friendship Walk Museum Park in downtown. They also participated in the walk with me, benefiting the Miami Learning Experience School. On St. Patrick's Day, the Belen Jesuit chess team competed in the fourth round of Miami-Dade County Grand Prix. The Wolverines came in first place as a team in high school division with 8 points. Freshman Aiden Pevida came in first place individually, achieving a perfect score for the first time by winning all 5 games. Sophomore Luke Swistak won 3 games. Belen also won first place team in the overall series in 4 tournaments. Aiden Pevida won first place individual over the last few weeks. The Belen Jesuit Speech and Debate have competed in a series of tournaments to be able to represent our district and region at both national tournaments. The qualifying tournaments are the accumulation of the season for many of the members of the team. For the first time since 2014, Belen Jesuit will be represented at both the NSDA National Tournament in June and the NCFL National Tournament in May. Qualifying to the NSDA National Tournament are junior Dominic Abreu and sophomore Miguel Walsh. In congressional debate, sophomores Alex Blanco in Humor's Interp helped Christian Alvarez in Informative and Kevin Walido in Extemporaneous Speaking. Sophomores Kevin Bjorkman, Carlos Caballero, and Julian de la Masa will be attending the tournament as part of the District World Schools debate team. Qualifying to the NCFL National Tournament are sophomores Michael Mesa and Alexander Blanco in duo interpretation. This is the first time that the team had gained any entry into the tournament since 2014.
Hey Wolverines, today's looking like a nice and pretty day, but tomorrow's looking like an ugly day. Today's weather, we have a high of 86 degrees and a low of 70 degrees. The relative humidity is 66%. The winds are 12 miles per hour, and it's partly cloudy, and the chances of rain is 10%. Looking at the next 3 days, it's mostly sunny. On Tuesday, it's mostly sunny, 20% chance of rain. And it's looking like a high of 86 and a low of 70. Wednesday, it's a high of 88 and a low of 68. And on Thursday, it's a low of 74 and a high of 50.
Yo, what's poppin', Wolverines? It was a good weekend for Wolverine sports. The middle school goal lacrosse team had 6 goals. The middle school water polo team will host the Guards at 4 p.m. In baseball, the middle school baseball team was able to destroy Westminster with a final score of 9-2. Since we're on baseball, let's see what's up with the Marlins. Unfortunately, the Marlins fell short to the Yankees in spring training 5-8, but they are looking to come out with the dub as they face the Nationals later on. The Heat came out with a win a few days back against the Lakers with a final score of 92-91. They look to continue this winning act as they face the Denver Nuggets at home. If your bracket was above a highly talented UNC team in one of the biggest upsets of the weekend, the University of Maryland Baltimore defeated a #1 ranked Virginia team. Nevada came back from a 22-point deficit against a #2 ranked Cincinnati. Syracuse beat Michigan with a final score of 55-53. Purdue beat Butler only by 3 points with a final score of 76-73. Clemson destroyed Auburn 84-53, and probably the biggest upset of the weekend, #9 FSU winning over #1 ranked Xavier In other news, the Dolphins have acquired center Daniel Kilgore from the San Francisco 49ers and have cut veteran center Mike Pouncey. We have also released tight end Julius Thomas. That's all for sports. Now back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Edward. That's all our news for today. I'm Aiden Jurado.
And I'm Mark Zoza. Remember to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Stay golden, Wolverines.